Welcome to my channel Class Winner by Shri Shyam Books, All India #1 skill books publisher. So if you're a physical activity trainer, you've probably wondered this. Are my students actually getting better? Or are they just, going through the motions? Today, we are going to look way beyond just grades to explore how you can measure real, meaningful progress through student assessment. I mean, it's a huge question, right? A kid can practice for hours and hours, but that doesn't automatically mean they're improving. So how do we, as coaches, measure what really matters? How do we see that tangible growth? Well, let's find out. All right, here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the why, the whole goal of assessment. Then we'll get into the what, the tools you'll need. We'll look at two different ways to measure, the actual step-by-step process, and finally, how to talk about it all with parents. Let's get to it. First things first, let's talk about the why. And I want to be really clear about this. This is not just about slapping a letter grade on a report card. Not at all. Real assessment is about guiding and supporting your students' development every single step of the way. This is actually pretty fascinating. The word assessment itself comes from the Latin word assidia, which literally means to sit beside. I mean, what a powerful image, right? We are not supposed to be judges sitting way up high. We are partners in their learning, right there on the sidelines with them. And that idea brings us to a really key difference, assessment versus evaluation. Think of it like this. Assessment is all the coaching and feedback you give during practice. It's ongoing. It's all about getting better. Evaluation, that's the final score on the board at the end of the game. One is about the journey and the other is about the destination. Okay, so if we're going to sit beside our students and guide them, what do we actually need in our toolkit? Let's break down the practical methods and instruments we can use out on the field. We are going to look at four main types. There's self-assessment, which is where the student looks at their own progress. Then there's peer assessment, where they learn from each other. Of course, there's teacher observation, that's us watching in real time. And yep, even homework can be a tool to reinforce skills. First up is self-assessment. And honestly, this is a total game changer. When you have students evaluate their own performance, you're empowering them to take ownership of their learning. You're helping them build that internal drive, that sense of accountability from the inside out. And just look at this example for basketball dribbling. It's so simple, but it's incredibly effective. A student can literally see their own progress from the basics like dribbling with their good hand all the way to more complex skills. This gives both you and the student a really clear instant snapshot of where they are. Next up, peer assessment. This is where students basically learn to be coaches themselves by giving and getting feedback based on some clear criteria. They're not just improving their own skills. They're also learning how to communicate better and how to think critically about what good performance actually looks like. And of course, there's teacher observation. This is our bread and butter, right? This is where the magic really happens. It's our chance to see the kids in action, to give that immediate on-the-spot feedback, and to adjust our coaching right then and there. It is the absolute heart of effective teaching. Now, to make sure our observations are structured and fair, we use a few key tools. The big three you're going to want to know are checklists, rubrics, and benchmarks. Let's dive a little deeper into rubrics for a second. The best way to think about a rubric is like a roadmap to success. It doesn't just give a score. It shows a student exactly what they need to do to get from needs work to nailed it. It's all about making things clear and transparent. Here, take a look at this rubric for running. You can see that super clear progression. Notice how level C describes a student who might stop midway. Then level B shows they're getting there. They complete the run, but maybe stumble a bit. And level A, that's the goal. They're demonstrating all the essential elements. This level of detail makes your feedback so much more specific and way more helpful. So we have our tools, like rubrics. Now let's talk about the two main ways we can use them. We are talking about qualitative and quantitative assessment. Think of them as two sides of the same coin, and you really need both to get the full picture of a student's abilities. So here's the bottom line. Qualitative assessment is all about the how, the quality of the movement, the form, the technique. Quantitative assessment, on the other hand, is about the how much, the numbers, how fast did they run, how far did they jump, how many reps. You really need both to understand the full story of a student's progress. And these images show it perfectly. On the left, you've got a coach doing qualitative assessment. He's observing technique and teamwork in a soccer drill. And on the right, that's the setup for a quantitative assessment, measuring the exact distance of a broad jump. One describes, the other measures. See the difference? Okay, we know the why, we know the what, and we know the different types. So now, how do we actually put this all into practice? Let's walk through the practical, step-by-step process of actually conducting an assessment. You can really break the whole thing down into 4 simple steps. Plan, prepare, perform, and process. First, you plan your objectives. Then you prepare the students and the equipment. Next, you perform the assessment, making sure everyone is safe. And finally, you process all that data into reports that actually mean something. If you follow these steps, your assessments will be effective, efficient, and fair. And that last step, sharing the results, is maybe the most important of all. I mean, the data is great, but it's pretty useless unless it can be communicated effectively to students and their parents to help support their growth. Now, to make our feedback really clear and consistent, we often used a grading scale just like this one. It's just a simple, standard way to communicate a student's performance level, from needs improvement all the way up to excellent. But please remember, a grade is just the beginning of the conversation, not the end of it. The real value comes from discussing the why behind that grade, talking about the effort, the progress, and the plan for what comes next. That's what a great parent-teacher meeting is all about. And the key to having a really constructive conversation is balance. You've got to share both the things they're doing great, their strengths, and the areas where they can improve. This approach shows parents that you see their child as a whole person, that you value their unique abilities, and that you have high expectations because you truly believe in their potential. Because in the end, assessment is about so much more than just numbers on a page. It's about storytelling. It's about taking all that information and crafting a story about a student's journey, their growth, their effort, and their potential. So I'll just leave you with this one question. After the scores are in, what story will you tell?
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe.